Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Rachel and I'm a huge Eurovision fan as well as a musician, and in today's video the time has come for me to predict the 10 songs that I think are going to make it through semi-final 1 and qualify to the grand final this May at Eurovision. So this is based on mainly the pre-parties, the music videos and any other live performance footage that we have so far. Because this is pre-rehearsal, it's not a fixed list and I will be updating my list for the semi-final the day before it happens, so please stay tuned for that. But yeah, right now as it stands, the countries that I think are going through and the countries I think are not going through is purely based on what we know so far as of today. But more importantly, let me know down below in the comments who you think is qualifying in the semi-final and perhaps the order you have as well, who you think is going to win and then come down to 10th place and then the NQs as well. So please let me know, I'll be interested to see, because I think there's about 7 here which people will probably agree on, and then there's about 3 wild cards which people will disagree on, and it's interesting if anyone can manage to predict all 10 songs. That would be really cool. But what I'm going to do is go through in the order of the running order and just say whether I think it's going through and whether I think it's not, and whether I think it's somewhere in between, like a borderline. So let's get straight into this. So opening the semi-final this year is Norway, Alessandra with Queen of the Kings. So for me, I think this is a great thing to open the semi-final with, something very strong and punchy to set the tone of the whole contest and really get people up on their feet dancing. So I really think this will go through. It is a televote only semi-final and I think this really does have televote appeal. It's got that sea shanty vibe and a really catchy hook, but also this club feel, this EDM feel, which people will be more drawn towards as well because it has this modern feel to it. So you've got this nice blend, and I think it just has some really cool lyrics. It's hearkening to those kind of tropes of Norway, I guess, like the Northern Lights and the Northern Seas, and just kind of like dropping all these clues in there as to kind of the identity of the song. I really like that, and I'm thinking back to Kaino in 2019 and how they had these themes as well with the Northern Lights and these kind of like tropes of Norway, I guess, and that really did well in the televote. So I am expecting this to cruise through, as RAJC would usually say in his videos, without breaking much of a sweat. So the next country in the spot of death in the running order, unfortunately, is the country where my dad is from, Malta. And yeah, I think this is a unfortunate draw for them because their song is quite lively, it's cheeky and it's fun, and it's got this really nice saxophone hook which I think people will like. From what I've seen so far, kind of like the people who don't necessarily watch Eurovision before the actual contest begins in May, those people, the locals, do like this song. However, I'm a little bit on the border with this. I'm not sure, because it is so early in the running order and there's so many other songs in the semi-final which it's competing with. You've got Moldova with that kind of hook as well, but with a flute. You've got Israel as well, these more upbeat fun songs. So I am going to put this through for now, but I think it's going to sneak through in potentially like 10th place. We know Malta kind of struggle a little bit in the televote, so I'm interested to see whether going in a different direction, this kind of saxophone style song might break that curse for Malta, because it has this universal appeal, it's original and it has a spark to it. So I do imagine this will get votes, but it's whether it will be enough to push them through, but I'm interested to see. Third in the running order, this is my 10th place in my ranking, it's Serbia. Luke Black with Sama Mrs. Fava. So I'm expecting this one to qualify as well, purely because it is very unique. I don't think there's anything else in the semi-final that is quite like this. It is early on, but I'm expecting this to go through. I'm expecting quite a few televotes for this, purely because of how unique it is, and I'm expecting the staging to be quite vibrant as well. He's performed well at the pre-parties and I think he's got a great personality that shines through in his performances, and I think people will latch onto that, so I'm quite confident that this one will qualify. Now, fourth in the running order, we have my 4th place of the year, Latvia, Sudden Lights with Aya. So I am concerned about this one because from what I've seen in other people's videos, this one takes a while to grow on you. For me, it was an immediate effect. This was just amazing from the moment I heard it. But for a lot of people, potentially people who don't understand time signatures and kind of like using complex time signatures like they do in this song with the 5/4 to 6/4 progression, people who don't necessarily understand that type of music theory will probably just feel like it's a bit off maybe, and I'm not sure if this is going to go through. I've got a question mark against it. It does have more of an accessible chorus and more of an accessible outro, and because the outro will be what people remember, I think this does have a shot. There is a slot open, I think, to go through. There's a wild card. This could make it through, but right now, as it stands, I don't know. So I've got a question mark, but if this does qualify, I will be so happy. You don't understand. I will be so happy. And I am just so excited that I get to see this performed live in May, because it is in my top 4 of the contest, and I think if it doesn't make it to the final, at least I've seen it live and gotten to experience the magic of this song. 5th in the running order, I've got here Portugal, Mimi Cat with eachother. So I do believe this one's going through. I think a lot of people were a bit on the edge with this one because it is quite out there, but I think it's got this classic sound, and I don't think any other country in the semi-final again has brought this type of sound. Maybe Moldova, but I think it's so unique. It's got this kind of flavour of the country. It's kind of going in these different directions as well, and it does have these kind of moments in it which I think even if you don't speak Portuguese, you can sing along to, you can clap along, you can cheer along. It does have an accessibility about it and this universal appeal, so I am expecting this to qualify, and I really hope it does as well. 6th in the running order, this is my first dead in the water entry of the semi-final. It's Ireland, Wild Youth with We Are One. So as much as I think this song was designed for Eurovision, it's going to tank at Eurovision, unfortunately. I don't know if it's going to come last in the semi-final, but I just can't imagine any scenario where this one qualifies. Now, I do like the boys. They've got good personalities. They've been engaging with the fans at the pre-parties, and they've been quite active on Twitter as well. So that is nice to see, and I do think they are good vibes. But the song is the thing people will be judging them on, and I think when they do perform this song, people will be kind of getting the vibe that this is quite dated, not very imaginative as in comparison to a lot of the other songs in the semi-final. So I don't expect this one to go through. Ireland are on a bad qualification streak already. They haven't gone through to the final since 2018, and I don't expect them to go through this year, so I hope they bring it in 2024. Just do something so bombastic and new and imaginary. I think they have a shot, but not in this year, unfortunately. 7th in the running order is Croatia. So this one is a bit of a wild card as well. I think some people are not convinced this is going through. They think it's too avant-garde and people won't get the message. But this is Eurovision, and this is a televote only semi-final, and I do genuinely believe that this is going to make a big impact in the televote. Maybe not necessarily in the top 3, top 4, but I reckon 5th, 6th, 7th place in the semi-final in the televote, because it does have this humour about it. It's so typically Eurovision. This is why people tune into the contest, to see these bombastic, strange performances. They want that kind of kitschness that you don't tend to get if you turn on the TV and watch just a normal performance at like Reading Festival or something. This is why people watch Eurovision, and I do think they will get through. Not necessarily, I don't think people will get the message firsthand of the song. It's something that you have to listen to a couple of times to really understand it. But just from the stage show they're going to bring, I know they're quite professional performers. I know that they're quite confident on stage, and they've been quite good at the pre-parties. So I do expect this to qualify, and I think they will bring a good performance. So 8th in the running order is Switzerland, Remo Forer with Water Gun. So some people I have seen have got this through as a qualifier, but to be honest, I could only see this qualifying if we had a jury, and we don't have a jury in the semi-final. He's got a good voice and the track is quite decent and it's got nice instrumentation, but I just think this might be the sleeper song of the semi-final, and I don't think the general public are going to come out in big numbers and really vote hard for this one. I think it will struggle, and that's why I've got it as a question mark. So right now I don't see this going through. I do believe the bookies have this as a qualifier. I genuinely just don't see it going through unless they really bring something extravagant with the staging. I've heard that he's going to have 4 dancers on stage with him, and to me, I don't really envision that as looking quite right and matching the music, unless they do something and pull something out of the bag and it really works. But right now I just don't know, so I've got it as a question mark, but we'll see what happens. 9th in the running order, I've got Israel here, Noah Kirel with Unicorn. Now Noah has not performed at the pre-party, so we don't know what to expect when it comes to the staging and the vocal quality, but we know that Noah is a seasoned performer and she will probably bring something that is slick, polished, and probably a cut above a lot of the other performances in the semi-final. So I do think this is going to qualify. I think there's a catchiness about the song that the general public will like. I think she will bring this sass as well, which I think people will like as well. She has this appeal about her and she really knows how to kind of like use, I guess, her dancing as well to her advantage. We don't have too many dancers this year, despite last year with Chanel. I think people expected so many kind of choreographed, highly produced routines to be coming in this year. The only one I expect we're going to have is Israel, so she'd better use that to her advantage. I think this is qualifying. 10th in the running order is Moldova, Pasha Parfeni with Soarele și Luna. So this one's a bit on the edge for me as well, but I have put it through as a qualifier just because it's a televote only semi-final. If this was last year and we had the jury, I would not put this through easily. I think this has just got that kind of kitschness about it. I think the public will like it. Me personally, not a massive fan because I find it quite repetitive, but in terms of just being in that arena or being at home listening to this on the TV, I think it will be unique. It's got that ethnic vibe to it, and a lot of people do come together and vote for these ethnic vibe songs every year, so I am expecting this to go through, and I think it is definitely unique in the semi-final. Like I said, the only one they're really competing with here is Portugal, and they're both quite different and bring a different kind of perspective anyway, so I do think this is qualifying. And then in 11th we have Sweden, obviously Loreen with Tattoo, favourite to win the whole thing. Possibly she will win this semi-final, but we'll see what happens because we've also got Finland, so it's going to be a bit of a battle there. So this one is 100% going through. I don't envision a scenario where this doesn't qualify. That would be an absolute shocker, and I think I'd turn my TV off, to be honest, if that happened. Yeah, this is definitely going through. Whether it will win the semi-final though, that is a question, because I will make a video about this, but they do have Finland in here, and I do envision Finland winning the semi-final just through televote. But this is cruising through, and it is going to make a big impact in the results. Next in the running order, 12th, we have Azerbaijan, Taral Taranex with Tell Me More. This one is another dead in the water, unfortunately. The only way I can see this going through is if they bring a classy and sweet stage show, they nail their vocals, and they just appeal to people, not through being crazy, not through being amazingly kind of vocally talented, but through being cute, sweet, and endearing. I do see people picking up the phone for these two because they're twins as well. They have that kind of aesthetic, that unique look. But yeah, when you're just judging it on the song, I don't see this going through. But I think out of Ireland and Azerbaijan, I see Azerbaijan qualifying rather than Ireland in terms of those two I've got there at the bottom. Next, we have Czechia in the 13th running order slot, Vesna with My Sister's Crown. So I do have this one as a qualifier. I'm not going to put it as a question mark because I do think the music itself carries through really nicely, and I think it does have this instinctive appeal to make someone feel hard emotions when they listen to it. Not everyone, but me personally, and I know quite a few people in the comment section of the song and of my reaction video and other people's reaction videos, feel something when they listen to this song. The only question is whether they can pull it off live. The pre-parties have not been great. They've been good vocally. The lead singer of the group, I don't know her name, but it's the one who sings the first verse and kind of leads at the front. She has been quite good live. I think she has a good tone and she has a good control when she sings, but it's the backing vocalist, the two girls beside her, so the one who is rapping and then the other girl who's just providing a bit of like backing vocals on her own. They've not been as convincing to me, and I think there is a bit of a disconnect there. That is the only issue I have, and I hope they pull it together. I think what happens is we've been judging this song solely on the music video, which is absolutely just a piece of art, and the production on that song as well with these angelic vocals, it's been worked really, really well. But you take away those reverbs in the production, it's really hard to recreate that beautiful angelic moment live. The only way they can do it is to make sure their harmonies lock in so well, and the rhythms they're singing are literally in sync, every single note. then there'll be a bit of magic in there. We just need that spark. We need it to all come together, but I do see this qualifying. I will be so sad if it doesn't go through. But as of now, I've got it down as a qualifier. 14th in the running order, the Netherlands, Mia Nicolai and Dion Cooper with Burning Daylight. So this one has been kicking up a massive storm at the pre-parties because the vocals have just not been working. This has been absolutely difficult for me to watch because when I first heard the song, I really like the song. It's in my top 20. I believe it's about 16th, 17th place. I really like it. It grows on me every time I listen to it. But the only thing I picked up in my review, and I still think back to it, is it's just the irony. I heard auto-tune in this track in Mia's voice. And when we saw the pre-party performance in Amsterdam, my goodness, they were all over the shop. Their vocals were not hitting the right notes. Mia was flat and Dion was sharp. There was just a difficulty in singing the basic melody of the chorus. There's no chemistry between them either. It's like they've just met at the bus stop and then said, let's form a duet. It feels so lacking and it makes me so upset because this song is just so beautiful and I really hope they pull it together. I've got this down as a question mark, but I haven't put it through because it's a televote only semi-final. But even if we had the juries would not go big for this if they bring vocals like that. This is like the Austria of last year. Just the disappointment I feel when I hear the live performance. Oh, I really hope they pull it together because they are likeable. They've got a good song there. They just really need to just get it together in time. But yeah, I don't see this going through. I think public don't reward bad vocals. If you've got a ballad in there, you have to stand out because people tend to watch Eurovision not for the ballads but for the fun upbeat songs. The only way you're going to stand out is if you really bring a really beautiful performance, and that's what Duncan Lawrence did in 2019. You know, it has worked before, but if they bring a lackluster performance with no chemistry, no energy and terrible vocals, the public's not going to reward that. You have to give them a reason to vote for you, and they're just not doing it. And obviously closing the semi-final, my personal winner of the contest, Karia with Cha 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 for Finland. This is obviously qualifying. This potentially could win the semi-final because it's public vote, and I do see there's so much public appeal in this song. It's relatable, catchy, it's got this universal appeal, it's got this light and darkness about it. It starts off with these just really dark vocals and then it bursts into light towards the end. There's a palpable journey for this song and I think people will really feel it. There's two songs in the semi-final, Sweden and Finland, so you've got two different moods there. If people want to go for a really well sung ballad with a bit of an EDM backdrop as well, and obviously a familiar face like Loreen, they can vote for that. But if people want to go for something a bit different, something a bit more out there, avant-garde and charismatic as well, they can go for Finland. So there's two nice options here, and I think the public will kind of like choose who they want to go for here. So those are my predictions for this semi-final one. So just to recap here, the countries I have qualifying in my list: Norway, Malta, Serbia, Portugal, Croatia, Israel, Moldova, Sweden, Czechia and Finland. And the countries that are missing out are Latvia, Ireland, Switzerland, Azerbaijan and the Netherlands. So let me know down below in the comments who you think is going through in the semi-final, and stay tuned for more because I will be doing the exact same copy and paste video but for semi-final too. I hope in the meantime you have a really good rest of the evening and I'll catch you later. Bye.